do it. Welcome, everybody, to a special Tuesday edition of Scarif Live. We had to postpone our Saturday night little get-together for reasons, but we are back. Brad, how you doing, sir?
I told you so. No, never mind. Wait, we're not getting into that.
Kind of related.
It was 2009. It was 2019, and I told everybody. I done told you all.
Yep.
No, nobody wanted to listen to me, and now where we are. That was like 5 accounts ago, so you can't find any record of it. But anyway,
I got screenshots.
Yeah, those accounts are gone with your Need for Speed game.
That's all right, boys. Twitter's all about those receipts lately.
Yeah, right. Well, welcome everybody in the chat and on Twitter to Scarif Live. We're going to be talking a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And to my left, is it my left? Yes, or my right, depending on what angle of the camera you're at. I've got Brad. Here's a story. Brad, the butt to my scuttle today. I was asked if Brad is not around, who is my butt to my scuttle? I said, whoever doesn't block me. Whatever friend doesn't block me, I'll bring him on.
Whoever's left is not blocking us. I don't know what we can say at this point.
I know. And a special guest, last minute addition, which we are always happy to have friends on the Scarif show. Will, you may know him by his professional name, Captain Wrecked. How's it going, Will?
It is going well. Hello there, gentlemen.
Yeah, we're having a good time. It is the evening of the Acolyte, episode 5, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like we're all really excited, but I want to remind everybody that Danny over at Comics and Cosmetics is having her watch party in about 45-ish minutes. So when we're done talking about last week's episode, let's head on over there and queue up the Disney Plus and see if we can follow along in between her commercials. But we'll be able to follow on. Before we get into the Acolytes talk, I know there has been some rumblings in the Twitterverse and on the socials. It seems like every time we hop on, it's like, should we talk about it? Nah, it's so stupid. But it's like, sometimes I think we have to talk about it because it's just so weird.
It's like you walk in, there's a dumpster fire, and you just walk right back out.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
You better talk, otherwise I'll just be snarky.
Well, it's funny. I mean, I posed a question earlier, and Will, you can attest to this because I think you saw it. At what point do Star Wars fans devolve into not only throwing insults, because I think ever since The Last Jedi, we're kind of used to fans throwing insults at each other. Some severe, some not so severe. I mean, we did it for a while, not insults, but we just kind of, tongue in cheek, especially when we started the Scarif podcast.
They started it though.
But I mean, at one point, do fans devolve into death threats about a movie, about space wizards and laser swords, as they say, which, I think, at this point comes from both sides of the Star Wars camp, but it's interesting to me. Quick shout out to Vader Rapina, Comics and Cosmetics, Phil, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I had to say the whole thing because it's really cool. You guys, thank you for joining us in the chat, and a whole slew of people on Twitter, apparently, because those numbers are going up. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. Death threats and Star Wars fans. It seems like like it's every year it's getting worse and worse and worse, and I don't know what it is. I guess we'll talk a little bit about it. But Will has a theory. Dave Richards, thanks for coming on in. Scott Rifen, damn.
Well, unfortunately, one of the things that throughout my career that I've also had to study is psychology, and I think and also accidents and all that kind of stuff. So I have a really weird analytical brain for things. So what I think this is more of a perfect storm situation. There's a whole lot of shit. Sorry, I can swear on here, can I?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I totally. There's a whole lot of shit going on in the real world right now, and people are looking for an escape for that. And when that escape doesn't meet their expectations, they go right off the deep end. It's just that perfect storm right now. If the things were fine in the world and Star Wars was doing, in somebody's opinion, crap at the moment, yep, okay, that's all right. They wouldn't have all that extra stress, but people are looking for that escape, and for the ones who aren't finding it, it's really hitting them extra hard. And I think it's more of a psychological point at this point where somebody's actually not right enough that they feel the need to threaten other people over what essentially at the end of the day boils down to it's a movie.
Well, I don't think it helps when the escape is not an escape anymore.
Exactly. And that's just it. It's for a lot of people it's not. For some people it is. And that's great. I mean, enjoy what you enjoy. I've been a Star Wars fan since, I think 1984 when I was 2 years old. My mom sat me down in front of it. Like, I unfortunately missed the theaters for those, but I did get to see them in the special editions. But I mean, things were pretty good back then. If you take a look around, I mean, things were pretty good for us back then. We had some Star Wars, we had things going on, and I love that stuff. I'm not a huge fan of everything that's come out since the sale. I'll openly admit that. I'm not a huge fan of the sequels, but I can find stuff to appreciate in them. The effects always look good in Star Wars. I mean, let's face it. I've never seen a bad-looking Star Wars. We'll leave the fire and space crap out of this. But I mean, I think Brad really nailed it on the head. The escape doesn't feel like an escape for a lot of people right now. A lot of people are under stress. The internet is an anonymous place for most people, and they'll take it out online. I just personally see it as people venting in unhealthy ways.
Yeah, it's definitely unhealthy ways. I think I find it interesting too. Obviously Brad and I, through the advent of this platform and the podcast, we've said our piece about things that we don't like, and we continue to watch it, obviously, because we are Star Wars fans. We want to get into a discussion with other Star Wars fans, and I think that's why a lot of us are here. But what is it that, I don't know, turns us on a dime? Social media made y'all way too comfortable with disrespecting people and not getting punched in the face for it. Absolutely.
I can't disagree with that at all. Yeah, I really can't.
The wise Michael J. Tyson.
Crap in the school, when we said crap in the schoolyard about somebody, there was usually a reckoning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We coined, I don't think we coined it, but the whole keyboard warrior situation comes to play. But I think
we have the same criticisms of the military. We call them armchair generals.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, Will, you mentioned a couple of things. Brad, you did as well. But I think there's a lot of other factors also that come into play. And I was watching, one of our friends on Twitter. She does her daily Star Wars videos, Star Wars Meg. And she was talking about the fact that, for a lot of people, I guess the failure of the Acolyte might be the last straw when it comes to Star Wars. And I know, for whatever reason, the creators saying things, behind the scenes, accusing the fans of this and that. And obviously we've seen a little bit of that already. The Acolyte is not new, but I find the whole discourse just like weird because, obviously it is just a movie, but as far as death threats go, I don't know. It's odd.
That's never cool. I mean, that's just never cool. Like death threats. Let's face it. I mean, why even bother? I mean, to say that, even actually up here in Canada, we actually have a statute about it, that it's a law, uttering threats, and if you utter a death threat, you can legally be charged up here for that kind of stuff. So there are consequences depending on where you are.
It's not going to be it's not going to be the last straw. I mean, like at this point, don't take this metaphor, out of proportion, or but it's almost an abusive relationship at this point. Like I told my son's up here with me right now, and he's, I told him that Acolyte seems to keep getting worse and worse, and he's like, well, why do you keep watching it then? Well, I don't know, because we do a weekly show on it. I don't have a better reason for you right now. Like, we're hoping that the next episode is good.
But you know what though? As Star Wars fans, Wars fans, we have hope. I mean, that's the movie that started it all. We wanted hope, and we watched Star Wars, and as the image in the background portrays, there's always hope. So I think we continue to watch it. But I wanted to ask Brad, if we didn't have this weekly platform to discuss Star Wars, would you continue to watch anything Star Wars?
No. I mean, yes, Star Wars in general, but not this show. I wouldn't continue to right now. We said it started off around the 5 or 6 range, and then maybe the 4 range. Last week was certainly a 3 range. I think we both agreed on 3 for this one.
Somewhere in there. And I did. I'm going to interrupt you because I did ask folks later on when we actually give our official review of this episode. If anybody guesses it, I'm going to send them some stickers.
Yeah, I was just putting it in a range, folks. But
sure.
Anyway, like there's no, it's just not quality material in my opinion at this point. They could be saving it for episodes 6, 7, and 8. But if this episode tonight is a flashback, I swear to God, that is some cheap writing to end the last episode on a cliffhanger, and then because you mentioned it might be another flashback. If it's another flashback and we don't get this fight till another week out from now or whenever, that's some cheap writing right there.
Yeah, I don't think it's flashback, because I was looking at the director's list of the episodes, and these 2 episodes are directed by the same director.
Okay.
So I have a feeling that they just took the 1 episode of his and then just chopped it up in 2.
Okay.
So that's my feeling.
So they're gonna do a flashback episode later after that?
I mean, unless this is a 40-minute episode and they start right at the end of this episode, keep going, and then there's a flashback.
You can't do flashbacks this late in the season for 8. Second half. No.
I think they should really kind of curtail the flashbacks and just tell the story, a little more linearly than usual. But
Subtle Deviancy, Jedi of Chicago says, I think the flashback will be with next week's episode there. And I kind of agree that we are going, it might not be next week specifically, but we are going to get another flashback, because we're definitely going to get something from the other point of view as to what happened with the witches.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that for sure. There's still some shots of Kelnaka, jumping and attacking someone in that scene.
Roy, you encouraged me to watch Outer Range. You're one of the few. You're one of the people that mentioned Outer Range on Amazon with Josh Brolin. For anybody who hasn't, I think Danny might have also recommended. I can't remember who else was, but number one, if you haven't watched Outer Range on Amazon, do yourself a favor and watch it. But if Disney wants to learn how to do flashbacks, they should watch Outer Range. Like, how they intersperse the moments. That's how you interweave the past with current events in the show. So yeah, it's not entire multiple episodes dedicated to flashbacks. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I disagree. And I know a lot of people talking Star Wars. We'll be talking the Acolyte in a few minutes. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of discuss a little bit of what's going on in the fandom right now. It's a little odd. It's a little. I don't remember it being so violent, even on the old AOL bulletin boards. I don't know.
I control with the best of them in those chat rooms, though. I was born into it. These.
I mean, we all could, but I mean, let's go back to the days of the prequel. I don't even think anybody sent Super Shadow death threats, and that guy was basically the Mike Zero of the prequels. And I mean that's not to say there's people who enjoy that guy's content too, and I'll give him, and like that knee pain fella said a couple of weeks ago, I saw something with him. He's like, I'll give the guy props. He's putting out product, bang, 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 bang. Like, it might all be silly, but he's putting it out. I mean, I wish I had that kind of work ethic.
Yeah.
As for Star Wars, and my look at it is my best metaphor for it would be it's like my baby. I'm never really mad at it. I get disappointed at it, but I always want to keep watching it and make sure that again see that it does get better.
Yeah, and that's a good
I'm not
point.
mad, I'm disappointed.
Right. Because you're right. It's we grew up with it. We have a sense of ownership, and I think that is where a lot of the passion comes from. I see, comments from Subtle Deviancy both in the chat and everywhere else. As long as along with other people's comments regarding, their strong feelings about Star Wars, and I don't particularly blame them for feeling the way they do because, we've had the rug pulled out from under us many times. And I understand when people say, if you don't like the new stuff, then stop watching it. It's not that we continue to watch it to hate it. It's because
we want to love it.
We want to love it. We're fans.
There's also this aversion to anything standalone anymore. It all has to be part of a bigger, broader story that has to tie in with eventually this happens and eventually this happens and eventually this. Nobody just wants to make a slasher movie about a bunch of smugglers on Hoth after the war getting hunted through the tunnels of the old Echo base by a bunch of wampas. Like, no, it has no bearing in the story. And if
I'd
it
watch
sucks, it sucks. You wouldn't have to watch it.
I'd watch
it. Wouldn't have any bearing on the overall story, but everybody wants this, MCU style, all conjoined. I mean, Star Wars has always had that, but with the comic books, there was always that standalone. You can pick and choose what you wanted to watch. With Star Wars, you've kind of always had to follow the entire story. And I'm wondering if maybe it's time where we started breaking off into some standalone stories with different creators and let them do their thing and then let them put their spin on it. I mean, basically just on a grander scale, do visions.
Yeah. But I think it's difficult to push standalones in Star Wars, especially because this franchise is so old and expansive. I think for me, I enjoy the connectivity of Star Wars between mediums, comic books, games, TV, movies. I like that there's that connection to something that I saw like maybe a year ago or whatever.
Yeah. You can't.
Oh, I agree. I'm just wondering if that might be a potential fix. People are saying take a break as opposed to just kill Star Wars altogether. Kill the main storyline. Do some little things.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue One did it.
Back.
I mean, Rogue One, the first of the supposed anthology series for Star Wars, did it quite fabulously. Now it's branching off into its own mythology because of shows like Andor. But I think again, I think, at this point, because of the expansiveness of Star Wars in general, it's decades old. There's a lot of stories. It might be a little difficult now at this point.
You can't set it. You can't set it 100 years before the prequels or before the saga and not connect it.
This would have been a really cool story, like Revan, like around that time frame.
I'm saying if you want to do something standalone, you got to put it away from, time wise, chronologically. You got to put it away from the saga.
Well, I'm going to ask you this question, and this would be a follow-up. Both of you guys, are you guys interested, excited, eager to see the Rey movie that is supposedly set far off in the future? Will, I'll start with you, Mr. Guest.
To be honest, I'm kind of past the point of really getting my hopes up about things anymore. I mean, eventually, yes, I will watch it. I'm interested in the fact that I want to see what they do with it.
Sure. And I remember the days when I would ask any Star Wars fan and they would jump up for joy and say, hell yeah, I'm going to get my movie ticket. I am ready to go. Yay, let's do it. But I think
me and my little brother still have our stubs to the special editions in the theater.
Yeah, but I think lately, unfortunately, that has been the answer to the question of, are you excited for new Star Wars on the big screen? It's like, yeah, well, I mean, I'll go. Brad, what about you?
Yeah, I told you I was going to disagree with you. And like, I mean, I don't know. I can't say excited. I don't really get excited until I see a trailer for something. But I am not going to summarily dismiss that one. I never had a problem. I didn't have the same problem that others did with Daisy Ridley as Rey. I didn't have this. I didn't have the same problems others did with Rey as a character. Who Subtle, of course, yeah, Subtle Deviancy, yeah, the Rey Sue, the whole Mary Sue thing. I didn't have a problem. They sort of explained why she was so powerful in the episode 7. I didn't have a problem with Rey. There was so much wrong with the sequel trilogy, but I personally didn't think that Rey or Daisy Ridley was the cause of the failure of the sequel trilogy. Now, everything around her was a mistake. How they let Finn just flop and not let John Boyega play that role as he should have and become a Jedi like they hinted at, all that stuff. But I
did in the Lego show.
Well, yeah. So I mean, but again, we have to get good content from cartoons and stuff like that, But
Minecraft or
if I see it, I'm willing to be excited about it until they prove otherwise. Just like we were before the Acolyte started.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get that too. I mean, and I never, for the record, have a problem with the actor. Like it's
Sure.
I never blame unless it's a blatantly phoned in or bad performance. I won't blame the actor for reading what's on the page. That's their job. At the end of the day, that's my job as a voice actor. I read what's on the page.
Right.
And we can make suggestions. We can, just from a behind the scenes standpoint, we can make suggestions. But at the end of the day, it's still the screenwriters and the powers that be, especially in a studio like Disney, that are going to impose their will, because unfortunately they do like to have their fingers in those pies. I didn't have a huge problem with I didn't personally enjoy the story as much as I thought I would. It was I can find things to like about it. Like I said, I love the effects. I love some of the characters. I really would have loved to have seen other characters do different things, like you said, with Finn. I would have loved to have seen him get a good arc. Overall, my opinion on them is they're good, but they could have been better.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm like you, Brad. I didn't have a problem with Rey for the most part. I think my biggest, issue really was Luke Skywalker and everything that happened around, his character and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know.
Nicole said it correctly. That's that's all we want. It's not that hard. You have the talent there. The directors are there, the writers are there, the actors are there, the effects are there. John Williams is still with us. The music is there.
Thank goodness.
Sure.
They have everything.
Yeah. Well, apparently not.
Yeah. Just, I don't know.
Deviancy. Oh my God, dude.
Disney should just try it. They should just try it. They should just make a movie that we want to see and see what happens.
Well, the audience doesn't know what they want. All right.
Yeah,
well,
apparently.
Apparently. But I mean, bottom line, as fans, I think we have to treat each other with respect and kindness, and just discuss things. That's why we're here. That's why we're fans.
To quote
I don't
another
know.
show, golden rule, mother effers.
Yes. Right.
Like
All right,
that's
so
just it. Treat other people with respect and dignity, and there's no reason to lose your head and send a death threat over anything, really.
Really, yeah, definitely. Years ago, I coined another hashtag, enjoy Star Wars responsibly. And I think we should keep that in mind, whether we're commenting on somebody else's post with a disagreement, or, praising people for something that they all like.
We're too far ahead of the times, Ro. That's the problem.
Yeah, I guess.
That's
That's true.
In the year 3000.
yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us at the head end of the episode.
Happy to be here, guys. Looking forward to seeing you over with Danny. So
excellent. Yes. All right. I got to refill my drink, push a couple buttons, and let's come back and fix Star Wars, Brad.
Grab some Oreos.
This podcast is a member of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts and content creators, visit bio.link/Red5.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
All righty, folks.
Of course, I got my Oreos.
We got our Oreos here. We're going to do a reveal in a few minutes. Danny's show goes on in 15 minutes. We might do a little overlap, but we are going to be talking about episode of the Acolyte that just aired last week, and I know in about an hour or so we get episode 5. Scott, no, we did not read the serial numbers. I know about that.
You can cheat.
Yeah, you can cheat, but don't look at them.
No, well, I wouldn't know how to cheat.
Yes. All right. Last week's episode of the Acolyte was called Day, and I think this week, tonight's episode is going to be called Night.
Wow, that's deep.
That's deep, ain't it?
That's deep.
I did some deep digging, and that is my guess. Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about this episode. I think it was the shortest episode so far. I didn't like it for many, many reasons. I'll give you my ratings later. We're going to ask folks to drop ratings. It'll be an X amount of numbers out of 10. And whoever gets it right, I'll send them over some Scarif Scuttlebutt stickers. Yeah. So we get to a point where I'm going to scroll through here.
Get to the good part.
I can't find the good part, Brad. I really can't. We get Kelnaka doing some things. And we see some symbols in his ship.
Was there? Did you notice? I didn't notice anything. I'm sure there was something there. I didn't really look too hard.
There was just the symbols that were very reminiscent of the symbols that May had on her forehead, and
that's
the
what I
Witchers
figured.
had. Yeah, the yin and yang. I mean, there was one that was specifically looked like yin and yang. Kelnaka was boiling some leaves and smoking some grass or whatever it is that he's doing while he's hiding away. I'm kind of tired of the whole Jedi thing, hiding and hiding away and disconnecting from the Force. But then we get a little. We go back to Coruscant, and the Jedi Padawans are training. But
this uniform thing, I can't. I know. I get that they're trying to make it look like the High Republic covers. I know there's some of the Jedi wearing that exact garb on the covers of the High Republic books, but having everybody dressed the same, it's weird.
And it's interesting too, because you have the Jedi that are in the outskirts on those rougher parts of the neighborhood of the galaxy, that they have more traditional Jedi garb, just the brown cloaks and things like that. So I don't know if
What
that's
changed
the
in 100
thing.
years? Like in
Yeah.
the prequels, they didn't all dress alike.
Yeah, I don't know. The big question continues to be, who is this dark side character?
Don't
And
care.
I know they threw. Well, here's the thing. Yeah, we don't really care. I actually don't care about a lot of the characters. This episode is so short. I would think that at least they would give these characters like something to say to each other, something to do, a little, I don't know, exploration into their background, their growth. I mean, you've got a set of, what is it, like 8 or 9 Jedis that are on this mission. I don't know anybody other than Soul and the Yord Horde guy, but I don't really care about any of the characters. Maybe
No.
Soul a little bit, because he's starting to, he's got a little bit of
the little tracker guy that you can't even understand was more interesting than any of the speaking characters.
Yeah.
But like I think we said it was last show, you can't tell at all that these are bad guys, quote unquote bad guys. Like they're just angsty teenagers, or 20 somethings. All I can see from Khmer is the monk from Jacksonville from The Good Place. I can't even see him as I don't know. Everybody thinks that he might be the zipper face. I think that's a little bit. God, I hope he's not. That's really obvious if he is.
Yeah, and it's funny though. It's obvious, and they're throwing in some red herrings, but they're not. I don't think they're fooling anybody. I mean, I don't think it's Mother. What's her name? That people are saying.
No, what? No. But I don't know. Where are we trying to go in chronological order in this show? Where are we at? Where are we at?
We're still on Coruscant, but it goes by fast. After the Coruscant scene, I don't even remember the characters' names anymore. Who's the one that's not the evil Jedi killer? Osha.
Osha, yeah.
Yeah, so Osha is saying her goodbyes to all the Jedi, and Soul basically recruits her to go on this mission.
Yeah, the way he yelled her name was really weird. It was kind of angry. That was really cheap. Oh, we've got something. Do we have anything she wants? Gee, I don't know. Let's put up her sister as bait.
Right.
I don't know.
Do we even see that scene in this? No,
yeah, it's where he's talking to Canestra or whatever her name is. Vanestra.
Yeah, we're like asleep on this show tonight. This is so not interesting. And then the whole Ki Adu Mundi gate.
But he looks very good for -7.
Yeah,
let me tell you.
But I guess that was already debunked. People were going crazy that he shouldn't be around. But I guess his age was not told to us in canon. Only in.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
you don't retcon unless you have to.
Green Lady cannot act. I almost feel like, is she acting like that because she's an a-hole Jedi? And then that's why we don't like her.
I don't know, this repeated theme of let's not tell the Jedi Council, like that's a cheap maneuver on the writer's part to not include any Jedi of significance in this series.
Yeah, the other thing that bothers me is this Padawan is learning from a dark side user, a master, but doesn't know who the master is. I don't understand how she's learning anything.
We keep calling this person a Sith, but they're like splinter organization or something, whatever the hell they said. So, I mean, again, I'm not even sure the person's Sith.
No, I don't. The word Sith has never entered the vernacular in this show yet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's even a Sith.
No, I think the fans have kind of attached themselves to Sith because obviously red lightsaber, mask, black cape.
How could they not have mentioned the word Sith at this point?
Yeah, they haven't. Maybe tonight, Brad.
No, but okay.
I don't know.
I'm glad I got Oreos. Let's just say that.
Yeah. What is the chat saying?
They agree with everything we're saying.
Exactly.
We're
Yeah,
not getting Will. We're not getting Plagueis.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we're getting Plagueis. I mean, if anything, they're substituting characters for Plagueis.
Yeah,
As far as what they're doing here.
I sent you that video a couple days ago where it basically told the plot of the Darth Plagueis book, and that's quality Star Wars material content.
Yeah,
and all that's just out the window now with this stuff.
Dave has a good point too. We've had this whole thing where somebody starts out, I guess, as a decent evil character, and then in the middle or towards the end says, you know what? Never mind.
Yes. I mean, that's why I was asking if we're going to chronologize, because that's the point I wanted to make. Like, how do you go from literally, I think there's one scene in between, like, he's going to kill you. And she's like, I got to do this. He's going to kill me. And then there's one other scene. And then she's like, you know what? I don't need to do this. Like,
and even before that, she says, I can't believe my sister's Jedi scum.
Oh, yeah. What is, yeah.
But
she's not. She dropped out or whatever the hell happened.
Sure.
I don't know. I like the little Walkman droid better than like all the characters on here.
Yeah.
Actually, the
Star Wars
seat
does
cushion,
droids good.
Yeah, the seat cushion droids were better
cool.
than, they had more personality than some of these other people.
Yeah. Jesse says I was literally bored the entire episode until the last 5 minutes. I mean, I kind of
2 minutes.
2 minutes. But you know what though? I mean, everybody's saying, "Oh my God, this guy, threw all these Jedis clear across the forest." But again, I don't care.
No, yeah, we were texting back and forth the other day. The reason why that reveal meant nothing is like, oh, he's coming. Like, you can't do that. It doesn't work cinematically unless you've built up that character by, hinting at it or alluding to it. We mentioned Voldemort in Harry Potter, he who shall not be named, right? Like you're like, who is that guy? Like if he's so bad, you can't even say his name. This must be somebody bad. This time they've done nothing besides you can't kill a Jedi with a weapon, lightsaber. They've done nothing to show that this is a scary character, a ultra powerful villain, any of that. So he's coming doesn't mean anything. And it's sad. Yeah.
Dave, you have a really good point. I think they really outdone themselves in this show. That's one of the reasons I stopped watching Star Trek Discovery, because at halfway through the series, I'm like, I don't care about these people.
No, I mean, Saul, maybe.
I think they're spending, some time with him. But there's this scene in the around this tactical table. The Jedi are talking about how, like you were mentioning earlier, should we tell the Jedi Council? And they're saying no, because this might just be a splinter group. Are they saying that this group is also kind of like a splinter group of the Jedi because they're kind of working independently?
No. I think they're talking about the May and again, we've been giving the writers too much credit. They're just talking about May and Zipperface. But this whole secret, like, it's accepted that the Jedi are keeping secrets all over the place. Not a fan. Saul's Padawan, she's not bad either.
Right.
I don't know. Can't even tell you what her name is besides Padawan, but she's all right.
It is funny. It's like, who are these people?
I don't know their names. Like, we're halfway into it. I don't.
Yeah. I don't know. The chat is going to have to help us out because I think our brains just turned off.
I mean, there was like, I made myself rewatch it just to see if I missed anything. If like it was somehow good and I just didn't catch it the first time, and it's just not. It's just not like, no. Jackie, yeah.
Jackie, yeah.
Her sister's Roseanne. It's a Roseanne joke. Never mind. But I'm trying to go into positive tonight's episode, and we're not doing a very good job of that.
No. I mean, continues to sound good. The soundtrack is great.
Yeah, I mean, like visually.
Yeah, visually it's not bad.
It looks great.
On location.
Music has been on point the whole time.
First reference of pronouns in a live Star Wars action.
Them or no, because there was live action. Yeah,
right.
The cartoon had one.
Oh, and here's the thing. Out of all the criticism that Leslie Headland is taking, I do want to give her props for kind of pulling from some more obscure Star Wars stories. And specifically the little tracker rat dude from the Han Solo books, which happened like in 1978, 79. I do want to kind of acknowledge that it's kind of cool that they're kind of bringing some of that Legends or expanded universe stuff in here.
She doesn't get credit. She doesn't get credit for that. Somebody on the staff, they probably called Steve Sansweet or something. Hey, but is there some weird rat tracker thing from back then? Yeah, he's right here. She doesn't get credit for that.
I don't know. And supposedly your buddy Dave Filoni helps out with making sure that everything is copacetic.
I mean, okay,
we got 97 Bravo in the house. What's up, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, you missed the good part. Well, okay, so before we get to our ratings of this show, more importantly, we need to eat these Oreos.
Yeah.
But what are the chances that tonight is a great episode?
Well,
I'm not going to say great.
Here's the thing.
Decent episode.
Well, I mean, like I said earlier, we all like to have hope. Right?
Yeah, I'm asking K2SO, like, what's the probability here? Is it high? Is it very high that tonight's gonna be a great episode?
I'm gonna say it's very low.
You don't think they've just been holding out on us and like they're gonna blow us away?
Usually that the X-Men, everybody was crying at the 5th episode. Everybody was really united on how well written and great that 5th episode was in the X-Men 97 series. So maybe this will be the same thing. 5th episode. Again, this Smilo Ren guy is just not very intimidating. He looks like he's a scrawny little CW kid. I don't know.
Yeah. Who did you say that was that referred to this as as a CW show? Because ever since you said that, I can't unthink that in my head. Like this is a CW
unfortunately
level.
Yeah, unfortunately, every time I see young, a young ensemble without any seasoned veterans, I always go back to this just looks like a CW show.
Yeah, that's just what it feels like. But even Smallville was way better than this.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, I think I'm not going to compare apples to watermelons, but the Andor show had some great acting in it. I mean, obviously it had some wonderful writing, but this just doesn't seem to have either. Their goofy lines, again, one of the things that I really don't like when new shows throw in so much trivial fan service. There's one shot where Yord is telling Jecki, where'd you get that gun? You're going to have to give it to me because it's property of the Jedi Council. And I'm like, really? You're going to waste 2.5 minutes with the scene that is lifted from Rogue One and not even better written?
Yeah, I don't think they even realized it. They ripped off Rogue One.
Yeah.
That would mean they watched another other Star Wars content, which they didn't.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Danny's show is on now, but we're going to eat our cookies and reveal what our ratings is. If you guys want to drop some rating guesses in the chat, whoever gets right, either Brad or myself, but it's got to be specifically right. And then I'll send you guys some stickers. But dark side or light side? Let's open up these Oreos and find out.
So afterwards, you're going to have to tell me what the serial number trick is.
Yeah.
Here we are, spending. Oh, that's awfully kind of you to think that I'm light side. Okay.
Yeah. What's wrong with you? All right. Mine are open.
You ready? You ready? Ready?
I am ready. 3, 2, 1.
This is the way.
This is the way. We are both dark side. Surprised no one.
So what's the trick now? So I can get all dark side.
I have to look at the serial number or the UPC code on the bottom. It has to have either a B at the end.
A B at the end of the cereal?
Yeah, right here. On the edge of the packaging.
Oh. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
see
a
a
long
B.
it's a long number. 290.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
And B.
Oh, that's a pretty slick code they got there.
Dark side. There you go.
Still tastes delicious.
It sure does. Thank you, Oreo, for that wonderful adventure. I hit the mother lode the other day. I went to Target, and there were shelves and shelves and shelves of cookies.
My son did tell me he had to show off my slipper. This is something my wife got me. And even she didn't know how awesome these slippers were when she bought them for me. But it's massive, and it's comfortable. And
Too funny.
It acts better than Zipper Face does.
Too funny. Well, all right. So we're getting some guesses on our ratings for this.
No one's getting swag this time.
Yeah, nobody's getting swag. Subtle Deviancy says Row 4.9, Brad 5.4. That is incorrect. I saw some, oh my God, Belinda's in the house. I hope she's still there. Popping in to say hi before I head off with Danny. We'll see you over there. Wonderful supporter of the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. Let's see here. Jedi of Chicago gave it a 4, a 5.5 out of 10. The first half was a 3. Oh, he's he's rating like each segment. The second half was 7.25. Crusher Combo. You know what? I'm going to send you, Jesse, I'm going to send you some stickers just because you guessed that we were both dark side. So DM me your mailing address.
I think 97 Bravos probably got some swag coming. We didn't go out to the Hunter's place, so
I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
okay.
I guess I did.
So, all right. What is your rating? What's your rating? 3.0?
Yep.
All right. Mine was 3.2. This one's close. She guessed mine specifically. Brad, 2.5. 2.7 on 97 Bravo. 3 out of 10. Not out of 42. Yeah.
Again,
So,
just we haven't been hating on the entire series. We've been critical where it was appropriate, but our initial scores for the first couple episodes were higher.
Yeah, we're actually a lot higher.
But
this one was, yeah. 3 for Brad, 3.2 for me. I don't know what I gave the 0.2 credit for, but maybe it was the
music.
It was the music for sure. But yeah, I don't know. This episode of the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast seemed a little bit on the downer.
I thought you were going to say it was brought to you by Oreo.
It was brought to you by Oreo.
Nabisco.
But, oh, yeah. All right. Well, if you guys are still watching us, thank you very much for tuning in. And thank you very much to Will for joining us at the head end of our episode. We're all going to head over to Danny's channel and check it out. Cue your Disney Plus and make some running commentaries. Confession: last week I was in the chat, but I just watched it on my own.
Less commercials.
Less commercials. Absolutely. All right.
Don't forget to vote. Don't forget to vote.
Don't forget to vote. And obviously, Comics and Cosmetics, head on over to Danny's YouTube channel for a watch party. Let's see what she is saying. Yeah, any final words?
Tonight's going to be awesome. I can feel it.
I hope so. We'll see. Be kind to each other. Be respectful. Discuss responsibly. And enjoy Star Wars responsibly. That's the message from us.
I told you years ago. And that's the Scuttlebutt.
See you guys.